Sovereign Gold ASX SOC is a gold exploration company listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, and it's been operating for a number of years with specific interest in New South Wales. And with me is Michael Liu, the CEO and Chief Geologist. Welcome, Michael.
Welcome.
Yeah. Now, before we get on to the exciting news, can you just give us a quick rundown on Sovereign Gold and the activities that you're currently involved in?
Yes, certainly. Yeah, Sovereign Gold. We have a team that's specialist in exploration for intrusion-related gold systems, and these are a new deposit classification, only really formally defined in 1999 from research out of North America. So since they first defined the diagnostic characteristics that then spearheaded exploration, there's been over 70 million ounces discovered in the Tintina Gold Province. And it's clear to us, and actually the New South Wales Geological Survey, that the New England Fold Belt and the Lachlan Fold Belt probably have similar potential to what's been discovered in the Tintina Gold Province.
So the Tintina is not Australian?
No, it's Alaskan.
That's Alaskan.
Yeah, so North American, Alaska and Yukon, Canada.
Now, you've used the term IRGS.
Yeah.
Now, probably a lot of people, even though they're quite familiar with mining, may not understand what IRGS is. Now, that there's a specifically new way of looking at gold modelling and geological structures. Can you explain what IRGS is?
Yeah, it's a short abbreviation for intrusion-related gold system, so it's really gold directly related to magmatic fluids coming from an intrusion. And it does have a suite of very distinct diagnostic characteristics that I won't go into because it's too technically geological, but these are well established, and we've been able to take those diagnostic characteristics and use that to identify prime areas for the discovery of intrusion-related gold systems.
You've got assets in New South Wales around Uralla.
Correct.
And that's on the western side of the Lachlan Fold Belt.
Oh, New England Fold, yes.
And that's in the New England Fold Belt. And you've also got, and these are IRGS prospective systems, and you have another one in the Lachlan Fold Belt to the south.
On the Gilmore Situ, correct. Yeah. So in Uralla we've got a large intrusion-related gold system associated with the Rocky River Uralla goldfield, and that produced 160,000 ounces, about 5-something tonnes of gold were produced from the river and deep leads. That's what was recorded. Clearly the old timers probably took 3 times that. And that's one of the diagnostic characteristics of these things is a field historically known for quite rich alluvials, but with an enigmatic hard rock mining past, because often they're either very large-scale deposits, 1 to 2 grams, that bulk out to millions of ounces, but they defied the old timers. They needed an ounce to make wages, and so they dig holes in these things, find slightly high-grade veins, but they're never able to work them. So
in terms of this IRGS modelling system, particularly on the east side of Australia, are there any other examples of IRGS that have currently been proven?
Kidston's now regarded as an IRGS. Timbara, that's an IRGS.
And what are the size of these deposits are we talking?
Timbara's about around 500,000 ounces, but with much greater potential there, and that's in northern New South Wales. And obviously Kidston was 1 million plus. I don't know. Yeah, it was quite substantial.
And so also we were talking about the Alaskan field just a moment ago, but typically these IRGS systems are not small-scale systems. They're typically much larger gold systems that have been unrecognised in previous history.
Correct. Yeah, Geoscience Australia actually has published, after doing a point form thing on just diagnostic characteristics, geophysical, geochemical, geological, etc., tectonic. But basically, typically overseas, these systems are quite large and typically in excess of 3 million ounces. So that's quite significant. When you realise you've got one, you've probably got a tiger by the tail.
Now, realising that you may have one, Michael, you're making an announcement very shortly, or even as we speak, that you have some results back for some drilling.
Correct. Yeah, we recently acquired the Mt Adrah Hobbs gold deposit down south of Wagga Wagga, or just north of Adelong, just north of the Adelong goldfields. And it had been around since 1980 and people have been poking holes in it, but because of our understanding of IRGS, we made a statement that we believe this was a very deep tapping pipe, could go down past 1,000 metres, and that it could have potentially 2 to 4 million ounces just in that pipe, and that there would be multiple pipes. So there was sort of some murmurs that we're talking it up. So when the ink was still wet on the paper, we got a drill rig on the top. In 10 days, we put a 1,000 metre hole into it, and we saw visible mineralisation in monzonite, which is the pipe, down to 886 metres, and then from 886 to 1029 we skipped along the edge. We believe it's still going, just plunging away.
So this is a continuous significant strike of almost a kilometre.
Yeah, a vertical hole almost 1,000 metres deep. So we basically drilled a 1,029.6 metre hole straight down the Hobbs Pipe, because we were confident that it would extend to that depth, and we believe it'll continue, and we're proven right there. So we stayed in the pipe continuously for 886 metres. It had the right kind of alteration and the right amount of sulphide to tell us that the gold grades are going to run 1.1 to 1.4.
Now, a drilling program is quite expensive, and you were talking then just then about a 1,000 metre drill hole, which is not very common really in terms of modern, small scale gold, well, not small scale, but explorers.
Yeah.
1,000 metres is a deep hole.
It is. It's a very brave hole for a junior, especially when the equity markets are tight at the moment for raising money.
So do you have plans to drill more holes of the same magnitude?
We do. We're going to drill 3 more starting next week. We're going to drill a hole at 80 degrees, slightly inclined, so we not only test vertical continuity, we expect it to enter the...
So you're looking for width now?
Width, get some idea of the geometry. We know it's got length now. It can be 886, but probably more than a kilometre long. And we know from holes down to 350 metres that it's widening. So at the surface, it's shallow drill holes have indicated it's got a strike of about 240 metres and still open to the southeast, and it's got widths of 80 to 120, but deeper holes down to 300, 350 show it considerably widening.
So if we were again to look at the sort of the scale of what we're talking about here, because it's a large scale system that you're potentially sitting on. The Cadia deposit, it's a different style of mineralisation, but those gold grades are similar kind of grades or less than what you're telling me now.
Yeah, we've done an analysis here. Cadia and some of the...
Which is something like 9 million ounces so far since...
Yeah, Cadia's got about 60 million gold ounce equivalents. It's a copper gold, it's a porphyry thing, and alkalic, and obviously Rio's the same. Rio's a swarm of pipes. We believe that the morphology of the Mt Adrah Hobbs system is basically going to be comprised of a series of finger-like pipes rising from a mother pluton that itself will be mineralised. And Rio since has found multiple pipes since they started exploring in 40 years ago, and they've also now found the mother pluton, which is very exciting. So that's our deeper conceptual target. But and looking at gold equivalents between Barrick, some of the Cadia assets, some of the grades like the Endeavour 26 pipe lift 2, basically some of them have very comparable grades to either the gold equivalent of ours or the gross dollar value, whether you have the dollar value copper gold or dollar value of gold only. So we've got the dollars or the grade per tonne that's equivalent to some of these majors, and we've now got the depth, this coming drilling is just going to prove up the tonnage. But basically we have enough now for a conceptual open cut to say 200 metres, and then we've got enough drilled out that we know now that it extends at least like about 1.3 grams, we assume, to 600 metres. So we can do about a 500 metre block cave lift. We've sent rust samples off for metallurgical work, and we're sending samples off to test the fracture density for either block caving or...
So it sounds very much like you're going to be busy for a fair while yet of evaluating this discovery, and I'd call it a discovery, a major discovery. In terms of modern exploration for gold in New South Wales, this would be a major discovery.
Yeah, we put it out there, and I put it out there myself. I'd like anyone listening to this to send me any information on equivalent holes, something that's from 0 to near 1,000 metres in mineralisation. I'd like to hear. We know Carapatina, that was IOCG, that had a very big intersection, and then they had a big one at Oya Tolgai, about 728 metres, but they picked it up at 1,200. You know, we started at 0 under our boots, so that's the sort of potential in New South Wales. And we've got a big chunk of the Gilmore Suture, and we've got past explorers at 5,000 metres of helicopter-borne radiometrics and magnetic surveys have picked up Hobbs lookalikes along that survey point that no one's even bothered to start to look at. So this
sounds like a very busy time coming up for you. So what is next in terms of sovereign gold? And just as a reminder, that's ASX SOC. If you want to check that on the for the share price and whatnot. But what's on the plan for the next, say, 2 years? What's for investors looking at sovereign gold right now? I mean, all Australian mining companies are undervalued.
Yeah, correct.
And, along comes another company saying we've got gold, but really this is a different story. This is a differentiation point when you've got 1,000 metres. So
Yeah,
what would you say to investors looking at sovereign gold right now?
Well, but no, what I'd say to them is that, we did it. We went there, said this is a deep tapping structure, put 1,000 metres. It's an exceptional hole. I think we have got a very significant emerging world-class asset. 3 more holes. I can see that these next 3 holes and the assays from the current hole will add considerable shareholder value to a company I believe now is undervalued, because not only we'll fund the drilling at Mt Adrah Hobbs, but in northern New South Wales, between Sovereign, we own nearly 90% of ASX listed precious metal resources. Sovereign's got, between the 2 companies, we've got a commitment either under JV or MOU for $21 million worth of funding from a Chinese state-owned enterprise. Right now we've got a drill rig up there, fully funded, and we've got a 2,500 metre drilling campaign going on in our Rocky River Uralla IRGS, and results of that will come out in parallel to the Hobbs Mt Adrah. But essentially, our key focus is we can add significant value for very little money. In fact, we drill at our current cost of drilling, we're probably spending between $1 and $2 per inferred ounce would seem to be costing.
Unbelievable. Yeah. That's cost.
It's so constant.
Discovery cost.
Yeah.
So Michael, right now you're fully funded. So all the exploration is fully funded. Your drilling program is fully funded. There is nothing stopping you from actually moving in with additional discoveries with the other company, which is Precious Metals Resources. That's ASX PMR.
Correct. Yeah.
And so that's probably worth a look at as well for investors.
Definitely. Yeah. Actually, they've got like I said, attracted $10 million worth of funding under JV and MOU on 3 juxtaposed exploration licences about 80 kilometres southeast of Armidale in the Halls Peak area. Just to show the power of these partners, they basically wrote a $400,000 cheque and flew a state-of-the-art helicopter VTM EM survey over the tenements, and have picked up very significant, very deep conductors, and that even some of the geophysicists at some points don't quibble with about the interpretation. They argue whether it's VMS or SEDEX at some points in the anomaly, and these require 500-600 metre holes. But we had an expert, he's retired now, 2006, before it was listed, from Phelps Dodge, a geologist, Greg McKelvey. He actually is a geological dynasty. There's a McKelvey building in the US Geological Survey, but Greg was Vice President, Phelps Dodge, South America, SEDEX. He said emphatically that at depth, if you do a VTM survey, you'll have a Mount Isa-sized SEDEX deposit.
My goodness.
We've certainly got the conductor now, but we haven't drilled it. So until we drill it, we can't be sure what it is. But our partners, we're mobilising another drill rig and hope to get a hole into that thing.
Now, you've established a pattern. You've established the IRGS systems are absolutely there.
Yeah.
Are you now on the lookout for other IRGS systems that may be available or in the area?
We're always doing that, considering other ones. But right now we've got quite a suite, and we feel that the smart thing to do is to consolidate these assets, and particularly drill Mt Adrah, add shareholder value. We've got that significant funding coming through from our partners, and I'll just note that our partners, that funding at 21 million combined between PMR and Sovereign under JV and MOU, doesn't come in through the share registry, doesn't dilute the shareholders. They earn equity, and in each case between 1 and 4 million is spent per exploration licence. Within a 24-month period, they earn 30% of that licence, which is a very good deal all around.
It sounds fantastic. Yeah. Michael Liu,
yeah,
Chief Geologist for Sovereign Gold, thank you very much.
Pleasure.